Well, hello and welcome to Wildcat Week. I'm Andre Alcock. Well, the Wildcat football team, they hosted the Tigers of Olivet Nazarene University this past weekend. And here to talk about that game and break it down for us is the head coach of the Wildcats, Jordan Langs. And Coach, really big win and a great win for Indiana Wesleyan on Saturday night, a night game, but against a really quality opponent.
Yeah, Olivet Nazarene is good, and they're significantly better than they were a year ago. So doing it under the lights at our place was fun, but it was good confidence for our program to play against the caliber of team like that and play tough and play consistent and play to the win.
One of the things we're going to see, when we look at highlights is the run game, especially in the second half. Something I think, you guys have been waiting to produce and develop. It seemed to come alive in that second half.
Yeah, I mean, we liked our plan a lot, and we executed it pretty well in the first half. We fumbled the ball we shouldn't have, and we get a tip pass for an interception, and those two things really put a cloud over it. But going into halftime, we felt really good about it, and we just stayed on it, and we stayed against their defensive structures, and our kids ran hard and stepped up, and so it was good to kind of get that thing back rolling.
And maybe, I don't know, maybe the best game of the year for your quarterback, Zach Blair. I mean, 26 of 36, but really throwing the ball on target and then really make some really nice touch passes.
Yeah,
as well.
I mean, he was probably one of the best games of his career, honestly. I mean, Coach T had a great plan, but Zach was in rhythm. He trusted the progressions. He trusted his receivers. I think 10 different guys caught balls. He went where the defense gave him. We didn't force things, and man, when we do that, that's what opens up the running game too. And the running game starts running well, and that's what a balanced offense looks like.
Well, yeah, that was the next thing. Balance. I think 36 pass attempts, 39 run attempts. That's almost ideal.
Yeah, that's what we want to be. We want to be a balanced offense, and you might have a quarterback who can sling it over the yard. You might have an offensive line that could road grade people, but as a defense, you are off balance when an offense is balanced. That was good to see.
Now, we've talked about a lot of great things, but the game didn't necessarily start out the way you wanted. And again, this is a really good Olivet Nazarene team. They got an outstanding quarterback, couple really good tailbacks, and then they hit you early for the big play.
Yeah, I was disappointed. That's an illegal play, to be completely honest. They picked us down the field. The referees didn't see it, but our guys did a good job of responding to it like they've done the entire year. Coach Clark, Coach Terrazas always have great plans for us. Our kids play really hard. We just are really focused on trying to start better.
Well, and indeed your offense did respond and marched it down the field and put together a nice drive. Now, it didn't end the way you wanted to, but it did put together a really good drive.
Yeah, but it was reflective of the plan. The plan was good. It was sound. We stuck with it. We stayed on script. Our wide receivers and Charlie Hill on the perimeter blocked really well. And we did a nice job. We executed what we needed to. We just got to finish this thing at the end.
Here's the handoff to one of your new tailbacks, Jesse Dayglow, who that's not the highlight he wants to see, but he ran the ball well today. I thought after that play, you could tell he was going to protect the ball a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, we trust him. He runs so hard, and he's not afraid, and you really begin to value that in kids, especially at the running back position, but really at all positions, and Jesse's proven that.
So instead of getting the touchdown, Olivet gets the ball at the 20. And again, they put together a good drive. So they have two good drives in a row here. They go up 14-0, but I don't think your kids or your coaching staff panicked at all.
No, I mean, we've seen too much now, so we're confident in what we have. We're confident in our personnel. We're confident in our plan. And we just did a good job of staying on track with it. We knew it would eventually produce success.
You mentioned personnel. I think the thing we're seeing is you get deeper into the second season and deeper into the season even now, just much more depth. And you mentioned Zach Blair finding 10 guys, but you just see guys rotating in out more on the offensive and defensive end. And you are finding a lot of depth.
Yeah, you're seeing our experience start to finally come into play. You're seeing our recruiting come into play. You're seeing our strength conditioning come into play. And I thought we were a better conditioned team down the stretch, and we had more guys, and we started to really push it, not really tempo-wise, but just we were able to sustain a higher level of maximum effort longer.
And not only a great throw, but a great catch there by Charlie Hill. But that throw was exactly where it had to be, and Charlie came up with the grab.
Yeah, good. We've been in that giant personnel, as we call it, quite a bit, running the ball, so we had to do a little change-up off, and it was a good call by Coach T.
So that cuts the Olivet Nazarene lead 8-1 touchdown, 14-7, and now, this is good football when you get the score, your defense comes up with a big stop, and then your offense marches right back down the field.
Yeah, and we were disappointed because we did exactly that. We played good team football. Our special team stayed in the positive. Mm-hmm. We had a chance to come back and score this thing until we turned it over.
Yeah.
But thankfully we were on the right side of the coin flip, and we got the ball back coming out of half, so that was helpful for us.
That second quarter and a lot of the third quarter, I thought your defense really stepped up.
Yeah, what's important when you play as a team too is not, the defense gives up 2 quick ones, the offense gets to a rhythm. Well, the defense has to come back out,
right?
And they have to make sure we get the ball back.
And I mentioned
that's exactly what we did.
And excuse me, because after the turnover, they had the football in really good field position, and your defense came up with that.
Yeah, that's huge, and we were really good when we got them into third and long. We were really good. We were good on 4th down. And so we knew we were getting the ball back coming out of the half finally. Mm-hmm. And so the defense just had to get us, if we could go in there with a 1-score deficit, we felt really good about it.
Well, here in the third quarter, you've tied it up at 14 apiece, and this is the play where you take your first lead well, actually, excuse me, Jesse got it down to the 1 yard line.
Yeah, and we go fullback dive to Evan, yeah.
Bring in I guess Evan, kind of probably on the roster as a tight end, but he can.
Well, yeah, and we moved to the fullback last year. He started at offensive guard for us, so his full circle as a football player has been pretty fun to watch.
But you cap off that drive with the lead, and again, these tailbacks, I thought, for Olivet, they had a couple of really nice tailbacks, and they got some yardage on you, but I thought overall you did a pretty good job against them.
That's kind of part of us. They've gone a long drive here that takes down a lot of clock. Good job by them, kudos by them. And so many times this year the defense has come up with a big stop, but that's just part of playing good team football. Is they gave up one here late, and we felt really good as an offense. We drove it back down, put it in. Defense gives us the ball back again, and we run the 5-minute drill to get out of the game.
And this was the part going back, or maybe the part of the game where we talked about the run game and the pass game, the mix there, but the run game here, you really see it start to develop. Wade hits a hole, and then the burst of speed, but you stick with the run and it pays dividends.
Yeah, we just, the way they were playing coverage to Braden was not going to be sound in the run game. And we just stayed on track, stuck to our plan. Our offensive line did a good job of believing in it. And these young running backs just kept running hard, trusting the plan. And a guy like Wade's got some elite speed, so it was fun to see him break out with it.
Well, that was a great catch and the hit there by Cam Locke. But again, now you're tied up. Excuse me, you've taken the lead. They do get a big play here. Justin Johnson chases him down. You gave up some yards, but you don't give up the touchdown.
Yeah, and that's key. You're up 7. Once they get into the red zone, you can't give up touchdowns. You obviously try to keep them out of the red zone, but great resolve and great fight to get us the field goal. That's a huge, huge deal. Obviously, they thought that they could get the ball back one more time, and our offense did a nice job of doing what they were supposed to and getting the first downs.
Yeah, you got the ball with almost 6 minutes, and that's a lot of time to try to possess the football.
6 minutes.
Game.
They had 2 timeouts, so they had every opportunity to do it. So we were forced to have to move the sticks, and Coach Terrazas came up with some really good calls there down the stretch, and Zach executed them, and it was a good team win.
Well, again, getting back to some of these things, the balance between offense and defense, 224 yards through the air, 190 yards on the ground. It's got to give your team some real confidence. No, we can run the football.
Well, we've tried to play like this, and we've played a lot like this at times, but we've done such a good job of playing together in all 3 phases. Mm-hmm. And it's obvious that we play hard as a team. We've seen ourselves finish games really well. We just have to start more consistently. And we were close to that. We got better, but we're not where we need to be. So we need to still continue to do that better.
One thing we haven't talked about is the special teams play. Ben is just as consistent as you can hope for right now, especially on the PATs. But I thought, you look at the kick return game, they never got a kick return. I mean, he was putting the ball in the end zone every time, and we saw Justin break a couple really nice returns.
Yeah, I think this was the first time. Benny obviously has been so consistent for us, but Justin Johnson, him in the return game, I thought was a big difference for us. Nothing major, nothing crazy, but if you return a punt for 10 to 12 yards, that's a big gain. If you return a kick return out to the 30, that's a big gain.
Yeah.
So he did that for us and did that really well. So that was a big positive.
Well, up next, obviously, you go on a long road trip across Grant County to Taylor, who's playing really good football as well. Should be a great atmosphere, a night game. It's their homecoming. We all know what last year's game was like. What's the key to that game? What's the key to staying focused, I guess?
Yeah, the key for us is that we still got a lot better to get. You know, they've played 2 common opponents. They're 2-1 like us. They beat Butler. We lost to them. I mean, we've lost to them last year. We're the underdogs going into this thing on their homecoming at night. Obviously, it's going to be a pretty big deal in the county. We're excited about that, but we need to be really focused on ourselves and getting better and getting off to a good start and see if we can't go in and steal one.
All right. Well, Coach, again, congratulations on that big victory, and good luck next week over at
Raj.
Taylor.
Appreciate it.
Well, as we mentioned, the Wildcat football team will indeed be playing at Taylor on October the 5th. You can catch that game here on WIW-TV. Game time is at 7 p.m. Well, when we come back, Mikala Woodfork will show us just what it takes to play with the Wildcats, so don't go away. Welcome back to Wildcat Week. The Wildcat football team pulls in long hours to guarantee their success. Producer Mikala Woodfork took to the field to see if she has what it takes to play with the Wildcats.
A great football team is not created overnight. It takes time to develop the chemistry and the skills needed to win. That is why the Wildcat football team works long hours each day trying to become better than they were the day before.
It takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of grit, a lot of stamina.
Between being on the field and being in the weight room, I mean, that just takes a lot out of you physically. I mean, you just have to give it your all, just like wherever you are. But it's pretty rewarding.
Toss it. Let's go, Caleb.
Like, yeah, you have to be like strong and tough or whatever, but it's really a mindset thing of telling yourself what you can and cannot do and what you can and cannot accomplish.
The players seemed a little skeptical about whether or not I can make it through one of their practices.
I think anyone can come out and practice with us, let alone but play with us.
You never know. I think anybody can make it through if they work hard, but we'll see.
Yes.
So I gave it a shot.
Nothing to start for tomorrow, kid. Come on now.
I may not have been in the proper shape to do it all. And I might have been a little confused at times. But the guys still cheered me on.
Okay. All right.
What? He's running comeback on that?
He wasn't ready.
He wasn't ready.
When my athleticism finally kicked in, I felt confident enough to roll with the big cats.
Let's go.
For Wildcat Week,
Drop the leg.
I'm Mikala Woodfork.
Well, that looked like a lot of fun, but we're hoping that Mikala sticks around here with WIW-TV. Well, when we come back, Mikala will bring us the breakdown, and we'll talk with the head coach of the women's soccer team, Daniel Seiffert. So don't go away. We'll be right back here in Wildcat Week. Welcome back once again to Wildcat Week. We send it now over to Mikala Woodfork with this week's breakdown.
Thanks, Roger. Football faced Olivet Nazarene and came back with a nice win. The Wildcats were down in the first half, but came back in the second half, winning 28-24. The men's soccer team went up against Huntington. Felipe Mendaca scored the first goal for the Wildcats in the 15th minute. Unfortunately, that was the Wildcats' only goal, and they lost 3-1. The women, however, were able to beat Huntington 2-1. Lauren Turner scored the Wildcats' first goal in the 42nd minute, and Alexis Garcia scored their second in the 60th minute. The women's volleyball team keeps their winning streak up as they beat Huntington in 3 straight sets. The ladies are now 9-0 in the Crossroads League. Both the men's and women's tennis teams face IU Southeast. The men won 4-0, and then the women won 5-0. And finally, the swimming team kicked off their season at the Lindsey Wilson Fall Frenzy, where they finished in second place with 944 points out of 5 teams. Sydney Darnell was on fire, qualifying for 3 individual NAIA national championships. Many of the relay teams also qualified. Well, that's all I have for you this week on The Breakdown. Back to you, Roger.
Well, thank you so much, Mikala. Now we turn it over to women's soccer, where this Wildcat team secured a 2-1 victory over the Foresters of Huntington University this past weekend. And here to give a little insight on that win and really so far a great season is Coach Daniel Seiffert. And Coach, first of all, congratulations on the win. I know you guys are now 9-1 and 1 overall, 2-0 at Crossroads League play, but it sure hasn't been easy though, has it?
No, it's been a troublesome year. It's it's one of those things where we've challenged ourselves with our schedule and almost having that result against Lindsey Wilson early in the year, where we were leading till the last 90 seconds, and then even tying a top 15 team in number 11 or 12 Vanguard was definitely good for the girls. But we're battling some injuries right now, just trying to get healthy, and the mentality has been from all the players is just next player up.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you a little bit about is kind of the injury bug that's hit your team, which is the bad news. But the good news is that the ladies have responded.
Yeah, they've had a great mentality through it all. We've had some setbacks here and there, with obviously field situations and some other items. But the way the girls have responded has been absolutely terrific. Something that we're really impressed with, and just trying to take each conference game. It's a challenging conference that we are a part of on the women's soccer side of things. So we're just trying to take it one game at a time.
You mentioned the field, and so we won't get too much into that, but the fact is that the game field has not been playable because of a surfacing issue and some things like that. So I know a lot of people are working hard on that. Thankfully, your practice fields are pretty nice fields relative to a lot of other places. It's still not the game field, but you do have a place to play at home.
For sure, and that always makes it nice. It's there's a lot of people, like you said, are putting in work to make sure that our training grounds is up to standards and everything. It's not the same feeling, but it's really a nice training facility that we have that a lot of universities don't have that privilege of having a practice field as nice as the match field.
Well, we're going to take a look at some of the highlights here against Huntington. And again, you mentioned how good the conference is. Huntington's 0-2, but they're not a bad team at all.
No, they've had some really good results. They tied Madonna earlier in the year, who's receiving votes. They've had some overtime matches as well with some top 25 teams. So being able to come out, we didn't play the best in this match, but it was one of those things where the girls found a way to grit through and get the result.
Well, and there, but first 40, 42 minutes, you're playing to the draw, but Lauren Turner, we're going to see in a little bit. I wanted to ask you about her because in this game, again, another game where she has not only an assist but a goal. I think 3 or 4 consecutive games where she's had at least 1 assist and 1 goal.
Yeah, no, she's been playing very well, but it's a testament to the entire team. Our forwards, they work so hard on the defensive side of things. We know that it's our pressure defensively that creates our opportunities offensively. Here's the goal right here, or not. Yeah, it comes up. As you can tell, we learned from the first 2 mistakes. Okay, let's adjust this a little bit. I think this is actually the one where we're able to find Lauren off of a set piece and everything. But it's really a testament to the girls of our forwards working their socks off to create opportunities for Lauren to be able to get on the other side of the ball.
And that indeed was Lauren Turner. Christy Bowden with the assist there. But obviously, though, in a game of soccer, getting that first goal is so key, and especially when you're at home, but getting out ahead of a team like Huntington, a team like we said, who who has played a lot of team tough so far. But to get that first goal in the first half is huge.
Yeah, we say our mentality is, can we be the first team to score and the last team to score? And I think this is where, coming up here shortly, you'll see where Lexus gets the go-ahead or game-winning goal.
Well, about the 60-minute mark of the second half, Lexus Garcia got the goal. And again, she's had a really nice campaign as well.
She's been playing well for her senior year and everything, to go from what she did her junior year. As you can see, her striking the ball, she has a terrific strike and everything.
And that top left shelf there, I mean, there's no way a keeper is going to get that ball.
Correct. Great terminology too. I love that, but that's exactly right. She really does a good job of creating those strengths and powers with her strike and everything, and placements that are tough to receive.
Now you got up 2-0, 2-0, should we say that?
Yes.
Credit Huntington, Bailey Odell comes back about a minute and a half later and scored. And so, 2-0 feels like a good, nice, comfortable lead. 2-1, not so much, is it?
Not so much. It makes the rest of the game a lot more intense than what it needs to be. And that's the thing. We talk about trying to own the critical moments. And one of those critical moments is right after you score a goal. And for us to allow a goal that quickly after we scored, it was something that we addressed. We got to be better. We got to continue to keep our focus during those critical moments and continue to put teams away when we have the opportunity to do so.
Well, it wasn't pretty necessarily, but it's a W. You get 3 points. I mean, that's really what matters in a game like that, and especially knowing now what lies ahead in the conference.
Yeah, a win in the conference is massive. It's never a given. That's the thing about our conference is, any team can beat any other team on any given day. We saw that with Mount Vernon, who we beat earlier in the week, 4-1, ended up beating number 13 Marion at Marion. So we know that there's no game that's a gimme, and so anytime you get a win within this league, it's something that we're definitely happy with and want to continue to build off of.
Well, I believe next year on the road, though, up at Spring Arbor, which is probably, I don't know, the last 5, 6, 7 years been the class of the Crossroads League, and been an outstanding program. But no better time than to go up there and upset the Cougars as next week.
Yeah, we focus on the next game, and that's the next game that we have coming up with Spring Arbor, and they're a talented team, top program every year, year in and year out. So we're going to need to be on our best in order to get a result.
I wanted to we see highlights, it's all offense and stuff like that, but I want to talk to you really about your defense and your keeper. I mean, they've really been doing a great job for you, haven't they?
They've been doing a terrific job. We're young. If you look at half our team that starts or plays are all freshmen. And so when you have that many young players out there, it's encouraging when you see them really rally together to make sure that we try to disallow teams from scoring. And unfortunately, we gave up, one in each of the past 2 games. But having a freshman and goalkeeper in that important position, to play as well as she has been doing, and the back line that's been supporting her and everything, it's really encouraging, just to see these girls growing up quickly. They don't have a time to be young. They have to grow up very quickly, and it's been cool to see how our seniors have led by example what it means to really not be afraid of anyone, play with that freedom and joy, and just go out there and play for each other.
Awesome. Well, again, Coach, congratulations on the victory, and looking forward to seeing how the Wildcats do against the Cougars up in Spring Arbor. Should be a good one.
Makes 2 of us, yes.
Well, the women's soccer team, as we mentioned, we'll be back in action on Wednesday, September. Actually, that is going to be in October the 2nd, not September. October the 2nd, 7 p.m. game time there. Well, that is all we have for you on this episode of Wildcat Week. If you'd like to hear or see more of Wildcat Week, you can visit our website, wiwtv.com, and there you can watch past episodes and connect with us online. Again, that is wiwtv.com. And you can stay connected with all our local programming by subscribing to our YouTube channel. That's WIW TV. Well, we look forward to seeing you next week. So for all of us here, thank you for watching Wildcat Week.